We are on. Okay. Hello and welcome Nadia and Uncanny to Fit+Foxy. So good to have you. Hey. Yay. I'm really excited to have you here. Manny, before we even go anywhere, please tell us where can we find your beautiful art?
You can reach me at mannytheuncanny.com. That's M as in Mary, A, N as in Nancy, I, not to be confused with the male ways of spelling, and theuncanny.com. And you can also email me at mannycprice@gmail.com.
Dope. And I know that your art is not only on your website, but you can see your art on Instagram as well and on Facebook. And this is pretty much how we are connected, right?
Yes.
This is how we sort of started our friendship and connection. So Manny, I'm really excited to have you here because you're not only somebody who is connected to magic and a practicing sorceress, but also a very talented artist that serves our community. So tell me a little bit about your background in art and also about your background in magic and sorcery and brujeria.
Okay. I graduated from School of Visual Arts in 2005 and 2007 with a BFA and MFA in computer art and animation. I have worked as freelance and professionally and commercially, whether it was web design, graphic design, animation, you name it. That's basically my specialty, my field. My bliss, though, that I've made into my own business is the fine art, which is the oil paintings and the acrylic paintings and what you see now, which is the spirit boxes and the promise paintings, and mostly custom work for people asking for spiritual work to be done, talismans. That's basically what I really love to do for people. So.
And what is your introduction into, like, how did you find yourself doing magic?
Well, personally, for me, my family, with my mother, we grew up in a very Roman Catholic background. My mother did not make it anything, a little out of the ordinary. It was very low key. And my mother explained it, because you have to understand that she was Puerto Rican, my father was Irish, Scottish. And the time period that she was coming from, it was still kind of taboo. And she had to kind of broach the subject gently with my father. So when she presented to all three of us, she was like, this is the saints. This is who mommy prays to. This is our ancestors. And this is our patron, Orisha, that this is our patron spirit of our home, of our family that we go to. And if you ever need anything, you ask your family, because they're going to be, always be behind you. And that was how she presented to us. And she says, this is something that people will not understand. Do not talk about this in school. Do not talk this to outsiders. They will think that you're crazy or whatever, and you don't really need that chaos. So she was very, particular, prim, proper, and, short and, no nonsense. And when we started developing, as we call it, she was like, oh, Manana's developing. So she would tell this to my grandmother. They would sit us down and be like, okay, this is what's going on with you. Do not be scared. It's going to get a little bit stronger. By the time that you're in your 20s, it's going to go away, which it did. From 18 to 25, it went away. Because I guess, life happened, school, whatever. And then it started coming again really strong. And it's just been getting stronger since. And especially in my 30s now, it's now gone a step up where I'm actually, even my mother is now, we were looking at each other and like, did you hear that? I said, yeah. And we're seeing people, and it's like they're solid like you and me, and it's getting stronger, yearly. It's the more you practice, it's like any art or any, if you're going to the gym, you're practicing that muscle, you're strengthening it. So things are going to happen because you're developing it. So that's how it's been for me and my family. We practice Lukumi and Sansei, and that's the tradition that I'm coming from.
Okay, so let me just make sure that people understand, because you and I had a little conversation. We have some similar fields. So when you say the ancestors, your mom was talking about the ancestors. You had a boveda in a home, which is the white table with cups of water for the ancestors, and the saints are the orisha, and then there was a patron saint of the house, which is who is the patron saint? Who was the patron saint in your house?
In our family, it's Yamaya.
So Yamaya is pretty much going through the generations in the family. So now she is also your patron as well.
Yes.
Is that correct? And when you're saying that you started feeling it stronger and stronger, what are we talking about? Are we talking mediumship? Are we talking you communicate with the muertos? Are you getting possessed by a Rusha? Like, how is it playing out in your experience?
All the above. From mounting to communication has been clear. I can smell them. I can see them. Sometimes, you know how people take pictures and they find orbs in photos. I don't need that. Sometimes they just appear and I see like spears going across the room or little lights and whatnot. And not to be confused with, medical lights that you see that, oh, you need to get your eyes examined. No, totally different.
Right. It's a whole body consciousness experience. That's a beautiful thing. That's wonderful. So you took it a step further, and not that you're just practicing it as a spiritual practice, you're bringing all these energies into your art, right?
Yes.
Do you feel like you make a special connection to the spirits and energies that you are painting? I mean, is it just something that's coming from your imagination, or is it something that you're experiencing? You have a sort of a sense of communication with them, or is maybe it's, it doesn't have to be like every time, but do you have like an experience of connection with them?
Each painting is a case-by-case basis. It's like, for example, if I'm there's a total difference from like saying doing a solo show, an event, and they're doing a theme, and that's what it is, versus something that I'm doing it personally for myself, for a client, or a particular type of talisman. And even the talisman itself will tell me after I finish doing the sigil, I want this. I need you to draw me this. You are not going to interpret me in this other way that you already had in your head. You're going to interpret me this way. So like I said, it's case by case, because everyone, like, for example, Anael, the way I experience that spirit, she comes to me as a green parrot. She doesn't come humanoid. She doesn't come as an angel. She comes as an animal spirit for whatever reason, or half like a hybrid, or half woman, half bird. Like, that's how I experienced that particular spirit. The latest one that I've experienced with her is that she actually came to me in military gear, which was very interesting in the dream. And that was to tell me about a particular client that they weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing.
Oh, wow. How interesting.
Because they came to me saying, the thing that you gave me is not working and I haven't had any results. And I meditated and I'm like, okay, I spoke with spirit and I was like, whatever I need an answer, let me know. And I was very surprised that they answered me immediately that same night. And they let me know and said, yeah, about that particular client, this is what's going on. They haven't given me offerings. They haven't given me food. They haven't given me water. They haven't given me incense. I mean, she went down the list. She says, I need these rations. If I can't get these rations, my troops cannot go to war for them. They're expecting us to go to war with no food, money, whatever. Like, that's unheard of. So that was how she came to me and presented her case. So that was like, okay, I gotcha.
That is fascinating.
So that was the level that we connected on with. And I told this to the client, and he had to admit it. He admitted it to me. He was like, yes, I didn't do that.
Yeah, I wasn't doing shit actually, but yeah, now that communication came down, I bet they're gonna move their ass and do something actually about it. I wanted to ask you, you do something very, very unique, and I don't actually know anybody else who does that. And this is your promise painting or promise artwork. And I want you to tell me and our listeners more about what exactly that is.
All right. In Lukumi, or where I'm coming from, my tradition, my grandmother, she used to do promises, and promises used to, to the saints or to the Orisha, saying, I will do this, or Ebo, or whatever. And one of the things that she used to do was like, I will promise you, St. Anthony, if you get me this home, that this home will be yours. And she would get it, and she would have to pay up, which was to get the statue, whether it be 6-7 foot, whatever that she promised. And this has been something that we do with our saints, that if you promise, like even Saint Expedite, if you promise me this, I will do this and this and this, right? So it's basically the same thing. I've had people come to me for Ochun, Chango. I have people come especially for Yamaya, a lot of Yamaya promise paintings. And they will go on the altar, or not near the Bovada, but somewhere that is predominantly shown in the home, that everybody knows that this belongs to this saint or to this Orisha. So that's basically what it is.
What about other traditions, like Western mystical traditions, Greek or Romans or something? If somebody's going to come to you and say, I made a promise to Juno. Do you feel like you'll be able to communicate with that consciousness and yes, bring it down?
Yes. I actually do work with Juno and Hera.
Oh, really? Because
I have two clients that also work with Juno and Hera, funny enough. And I think it's because I'm working with Jupiter, and that goes with that energy.
That's funny.
Spirits, I work with most of the celestial spirits, the planetary spirits. Venus, Jupiter. I have only worked with Saturn once, and that was to remove things like debt, and it worked beautifully. I realized that it has to be used very sparingly because it's a very heavy energy, very heavy.
Yes.
That's the best way I could put it. It's a heavy energy. I wouldn't say it's a negative energy. It's just, you have to clear after that. I've worked with Mercury. Interestingly enough, that definitely needs to be paired with another spirit, because I found that working, like, things start breaking, things are hectic, it becomes chaotic. He definitely needs a direction. It's like a sprite in your home. That's how I feel with him. He's like this ball of light just going ding, ding. Who else? I have worked with lunar spirits, definitely, lunar mansion spirits. A lot.
Oh, I love that. This is fascinating. Not a lot of people even venture into that space.
I think the way that happened for me was when I started doing the ceremonial workings with Jupiter, especially Boreal or Baraquiel, or he comes with many names. And because of those names, I realized that they're all the same spirit, but they're different aspects of that spirit. And one of them is Boreal, who is actually a lunar spirit, lunar mansion spirit. And he is, with disease and famine and mostly like very negative aspects. But he is also the spirit that's for money, wealth, prosperity, abundance, children, watching over children, a guardian angel, patron of marriages. I mean, like he's like a super powerhouse. Like, I joke with my clients saying that he's the Batman of archangels, because he is so dark. I don't know how else to explain it. He's like, he's very brooding. He's very dark. He's very, like either Arabian. He comes to me as Arabian, very swarthy, not too dark, but like a pharaoh. Like, he has this physique, the way that he comes through, and kind of almost like Zeus, I would say, but not quite. He's much younger looking, much younger looking. Cool. I'm sorry.
No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it at all. I wanted to ask you about another thing that you do, which I find super, super cool as well. Your spirit boxes, which are pretty, I mean, if you guys need to go check out what I'm talking about, because they're really, really cool looking. And I think that one of the things that I kind of find very interesting about you is that your stuff is functional. Like the promise, the promise painting, promise has to be done, blah, blah, blah. But the spirit boxes are really functional. It's not just, a beautiful magical artifact. It's actually something to be used in a specific way. So tell me about that.
Before I go into it, I have to put a disclaimer because, and I will tell people up front, do not get a spirit box if you are a beginner. You have to be either intermediate or advanced to use these boxes, because I don't mind giving you instructions and, you know, telling you the whole process, but I cannot hold your hand throughout the entire thing. One of the things why I say this is because the spirits need to be cared for in a particular way, and the upkeep needs to be maintained. And I have such reverence and respect for spirit that when I hear, you know, horror stories back about, you know, I don't want that. So that's my little disclaimer. But otherwise, my spirit boxes, they definitely do work. Anything from love. I mostly use the seals of Solomon. And like I said, the lunar the lunar spirits from the mansions. And I have done a few Goetic spirits, like Boone and Paimon and Fur, and who was the other one? Furcus, I think it was. And mostly for love, money, and basically making things happen. I think I did one for Orpheus, and I think I did another for Mercury and Regulus. So you can kind of get the idea and feel of like what they're for. Predominantly, they're altars, they are vessels, and I am basically basing it on the Picatrix, which is the premise that the act of art, the act of creating, is an act of violence. What does that mean? The act of violence is that you are creating something that is natural into something that's unnatural. You are forcing or time-stamping a spirit, if you're doing it astrologically based, into at a certain place in time, especially with this this vessel or this talisman that you're creating. And that's exactly what you're doing. You're creating a house, you're creating a portal or a vortex, you're creating a point in which for communication, sort of like a phone or you know, smartphone, whatever, like a type of a device that allows communication between you and spirit to manifest and be able to have that better connection with it. And if you treat it as such, it will definitely work for you. And if you continue with the upkeep with it, it will take care of you for a lifetime. And I have my own. I created my own. And that was when Jupiter was in Cancer. So I have my own Jupiter box. That's why I have such a deep connection with Boreal. I have done so many. Yeah, so that's basically, in essence, what the spirit boxes are. It's based on client per client basis, that whatever their needs are. Sometimes I have heard people like they want it and they don't know why. And I'm like, okay, what are your goals are? What are you looking for? Because I'm just not going to do it just because you want one because it sounds cool and awesome. That doesn't how it works. So I do different types of wood also based on, like, for example, if it's like for Ishtar, I would have it for, like with Wenge wood. We have, I think leopard would be another one that I would be attributed to her. I have maple. I have done purple heart. Recently we've done a few purple heart for, I think it was for love-based ones, especially for the 4th and 5th pentacle of Venus. And I think we've also done ashwood, birch, and I'm trying to think of the other one. Yeah, cherry. Cherry seems to be the popular one because that is like very attractive for love spells.
Yes, cherry wood for sure. When you say we, who is helping you? Do you have little elves?
I have a carpenter.
Okay, that's cool.
For the panels, I have a special carpenter. Duho does the wood panels, and then I have a special carpenter. His name is Josh, and he creates all the boxes for me. And I give him the dimensions, and he gives me at least like for a year because he has a day job. This is his thing that he does on the side for me. Thank you, Josh. So I make it very particular that whoever gets this understands what they're getting involved in and how long it takes for the process of it. Some of these boxes, they do take upwards from 2 to 3 months. If the box is not available, the wood is not available, it could take anything to a year. So I'm just putting it out there.
What are the prices of such, like if I would want to invest in something like that?
My formula for the way that I do it is the dimensions times the square inches by $2. So a typical box that I create will be anywhere between starting 400 to 500 off the bat. The biggest I've done, which would be a medium-sized box, has been like 800. I have never seen anything go above that.
How'd you get the inspiration to do something like that? Was it like a personal thing that happened to you? Like you envisioned it, you communicated with spirit? Like what happened?
This actually happened. I had a girlfriend. She was also a medium, and she was into tarot reading. And she's now moved on to other things now. She was kind of like, hey, you should do tarot reading. And this is how I started, like, because this was all personal. I was mostly just an artist. And the stuff that I did spiritually and magically, I did it only for family and friends. And if they wanted to give me something or a gift or whatever, that was as far as it went. So my friend was the one that kind of pushed me and said, hey, you have a gift. You need to do this. You are really hitting things on the nail. This is really, really weird. And, you're not like other readers that I've been to. And I'm like, whoa, okay. So she kind of brought me out of my shell and kind of expanded my awareness of the industry. And then she said to me, because she was doing something similar with, with her clients, and that's how I basically got the idea of like, wait a minute, I don't have to do it this way. I can actually do it this way. And that one idea led to another, and that's how I ended up with the spirit boxes, because I was like, wait a minute, if they're going to have all this accessories or all this paraphernalia, like they don't need all this. They can condense it, and this is what because this is what it is veneration. They have their candles, they put everything in there, and everything is set up, and all they do is just take everything out, and it's right there, spirit's right there with them. And I wanted to make it nice and convenient, but at the same time, a focus point and not just a mental focus point, but because the sigils itself is the crucifix, is the icon, is the image of spirit, and you're putting your mental focus and your meditation power on that. And it allows you to align with that spirit, whoever it is that you choose for your particular spirit box.
That is awesome. Manny, you do readings as well, right? If somebody wants to come to you and just say, I don't really want art, but I really want you to divine or tell me what's up. What kind of readings do you do?
Straight up tarot decks. I do the Spanish. I do the Spanish deck, and I also do the Rider-Waite deck. I think I've also have the Lenormand, but I'm still learning that one. A friend had suggested that to me, and the ones though that I'm really strong with, obviously, is the Spanish and the Rider-Waite, and that's my predominant. And I do the crystal balls. Yes, I do crystals. I read crystals, and I think some people have said that they only see silhouettes, or they see like shadow puppets. For me, it goes back and forth between that and actually seeing like you and me, like a TV in sepia tone.
Oh, wow. So
the little crystal ball that I have, I call him Lover because he's a joker. And he flirts with my clients. And clients have claimed that they actually seen the spirit in the crystal. So that something is there. Spirit is definitely there. But yeah, I have a smoky quartz named Lover, and when we do sessions, he appears as a gentleman dressed in suit and tie, and he looks like a skull, and he basically, when he appears, it's kind of like saying, okay, what is your question? And we proceed from there.
Interesting. It looks like you almost describe an issue or a get it. I practice Kimbanda, and this is how some of the issues could appear, like Tata Caveira would be a skull. But if somebody wants to get a crystal gazing, whatever reading that you do, the process, does it have to be one-on-one, or can they order it, or like, like...
I have experimented with family, and because especially my sister at the time, she was in Australia. So yes, apparently we can do it via Skype, and I thought that was not possible, but yeah, it is. So I have done it. But usually for the crystals, I leave it for towards near twilight or nighttime. For some reason, it's better for them versus the day. Like I can't get anything during the day. So if someone wants to book that, it would have to be like in the later hours.
And you do offer, I know that you have special offers on Patreon as well, so people can become your sort of ongoing patron and they're gonna get some perks. Want to tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. I have so far 2 patrons. I'm like, when I just first started up, I was like, yay. The thing that I offer on Patreon is if you want to do monthly readings or monthly checkups, which is what they have chosen, they get a monthly checkup, basically seeing where they're at and what, you know, they should focus on and, you know, what they should prioritize. And this seems to be greatly helping them. And things that like they never thought would come up has come up, especially in business for them and school. So this, I think like in general, like with monthly checkup, with tarot, like that seems to be like the thing that everyone seems to be enjoying thus far. The other thing I offer is monthly love letters, where I will write to you your you know, our tarot session, like your monthly, like if you don't want to have a video like one-on-one, you can have it as a love letter. And I send you sketches and I send you erotic art and I send you kisses and everything. And yeah, there's like a whole bunch of ton of rewards. And if there's nothing that you see on there, I will totally do one custom made just for you. And I have, I think, one client that's asked me if he wanted a St. Michael for 1 month. So instead of having his usual sketches, I did a canvas one for him of St. Michael. So you could change it up because you don't have to have like, you know, something random or something that you know you're going to have. Like it can always change monthly per month.
And yeah, just to put it out there, you also do amazing erotic art. I think one of the paintings, I was like, how did you channel me from the back? Because that looks like me, but I was just being the usual Madame Nadia. But you do amazing erotic art. So people, if you want to, you know, get a hold of real, original, authentic, beautiful art, you should go to Manny. Manny, before we finish, give us again your links or where people can find you.
Sure. I'm at mannytheuncanny.com. That's MANI, theuncanny.com. And it's mannycprice@gmail.com.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I really, really appreciate your time. And I hope that it's going to bring you a lot of new customers, a lot of new business, and a lot of new interest in your work. Thank you so much for being on Fit+Foxy.
Thank you. I'm just happy to serve community. And if I'm able to help people doing what I love, that is to me the best thing in life. That's my bliss.